There are some aspects of Christian doctrine that the average Christian, I don't really believe, fully has a grasp of it. Yesterday on the broadcast in the book of Romans chapter 10, we talked about the righteousness of God and how that many people are uninformed concerning it, and as a result, they develop their own concept of righteousness, and oftentimes it's misguided. But the thing that we have to understand is that righteousness is established by God. God sets the standard of what righteousness is. And He gave us the law initially, understanding that people were not going to be able to totally live up and fulfill all the law. But then Jesus came to the cross, and there on the cross, He established righteousness once for all because He lived it. And He overcame sin because He didn't find Himself subject to sin because He didn't sin. And so now we look to Him who has given to us grace. The doctrine of Jesus Christ is grace, and grace that comes to us by faith. Faith, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen, according to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. In other words, we don't see it, but we sense it in our heart, and we believe that God is, even though we have not necessarily seen God. And so now, we find ourselves at a place to where we're believing in faith. And because we believe that God exists, and we believe that God sent His Son to die on the cross for our sins, by faith, we receive these things. We become those who have the wonderful gift of grace because we've accepted it. It's just that simple. We've accepted it. And the thing is that there are many who choose to reject faith. They reject grace because they reject God, and they reject all that Jesus Christ did for us on Calvary's cross. They reject all of that. And as a result of that, they have found their own, code. They've established their own code, call it moral or unmoral. All I know is that somehow or another they have established their own way. And sometimes it's just simply to say that, well, there is no God. This is what they formed in their mind. There is no God. There is no eternity. There is no consequences after life for disobedience to God. Well, you see, I reject that because I believe by faith that God does exist. And I believe that God sent His only begotten Son to the earth to die on a cross that I might have forgiveness of my trespasses, my rebellious heart, and that God in His loving mercy has extended to me forgiveness, grace. I receive that by faith. And you see, faith is what sustains me. Faith is what keeps me going every day. Faith is what causes me to have a great love in my heart. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.